Hi folks, and welcome to episode 5. Yeah, I'm in my room, fucking freezing outside. My studio's in my garage, which is not warm. I did also talk to my mom. She's watching the podcast, so hi mom. But my mom doesn't want to come on, and she's retired now, so she can come anytime and come do this with me. I know how she can be. I'm glad that I am bringing us all together here. Aren't these earrings cool? They're like little swords. Anyway, random squirrel. And I do wing these. None of my episodes are scripted. None of them. I mean, I just know the time frame I want to do, and I just go. I just go. It's kind of like therapy, you know, without anybody asking me any questions. Yeah, I'm having trouble sleeping lately, and I don't know if it's like the podcast, because I don't want to blame the podcast. And I know like I perceive things differently because I wasn't there 24/7, as I'm constantly reminded. Yeah, I know. I'm basing this on my perspective of what I remember and photographic memory. But this is not just about the death of my stepfather. It was a huge part just because of the addiction and everything that my family and, you know, we experienced before that. And now this, which is pretty big. It's hard to lose a parent, but it's also hard to lose a parent to suicide. Things that make me sad. I don't care for that emotion at all. I like to be funny and I like to laugh, and laughter's the best medicine, right? This is a therapy session, isn't it? Like, I'm laughing about stuff like, why is she laughing? It's not even funny. Or sometimes it is funny, because it's not all sad and it's not all depressing. It's just shocking. It's like, but there's lots of good stuff too. And so here's some stories. So my aunt, Marcy's the one that taught me to do a podcast. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. And I was like 72 hours with no sleep. Crazy. And I made this video of me like just like going off about the situation I was in, and I sent it to my aunt because I felt like sharing it for some reason. I couldn't stop listening to it. You should do like a podcast. I was like, really? Clever idea. So here we are. I've been kind of staying up late because of trying to get editing done. I didn't have a job. That's pretty demanding. I'm not going to talk about any of that today. So my parents didn't really nurture me. If you want to go back to like episode 2, where I threw up and how caring my father was. My uncle at the time, his parents had like a pool, or his grandpa or something, and it was like it was 12 feet deep. So she would take us out there. She would take us during the day to this pool, and it was so fun. And she was kind of like naughty fun. Like she would like get us wine coolers or something. I wouldn't get drunk, but she would like be like, "You guys want some wine coolers?" We're like, "Yeah." And let me tell you about Uncle Bry. He lived in my Aunt Sherry's basement for a moment there, because he's young. He's like not much older than me, maybe 10 years older than me, if that. Probably that. Let me know, Brian. I'm born in 83. Crank Metallica. I don't even know what it was. I think maybe Enter Sandman. But you'd crank it up and then we'd just run around in the basement. You remember that? You're probably like, get the fuck out of here, kids. So, back to Sherry and the pool. So we were swimming. Me and Justin were like racing down to the bottom of the pool. Like, how dumb, 12 feet. And I didn't know that you had to like pop your ears or whatever, like, so that you didn't cause problems. I got like this ear infection. It was so bad, and I still have problems with it to this day. And it's something that they call swimmer's ear, but it was like kind of like a perforated eardrum, and from diving deep and not like clearing the pressure out of my ears, somehow we had eardrops when it popped, because it would like the eardrops would go in and then it would like pop, and it hurt so bad. She's putting the drops in my ear for me, then it would feel better. It would like get better. It was painful, and my Aunt Sherry is just, she's just the sweetest. Oh my gosh, you know what she did? Because I kept getting wiggling in my ear, you know, and then whenever I cried out, you know, like because my ear hurt, she'd put some more drops in there all night. She did that all night for me, with my head in her lap. Can I just live with you forever? It was like intimate, you know, and I felt very loved and very cared for and safe and secure. And I'm always looking for that now. Maybe I'll find it someday. All my aunts do that for me because they're amazing. Thank you for existing. So that was really a really nice moment in my life that I'll never forget. And thanks for introducing me to Hellraiser, Pumpkinhead, and all those other very scary movies that you made me watch. Anyway, so back to the story. After the burial, and we're now in this weird kind of limbo, right? My mom's trying to figure out like how to move forward from this. Like, what do I do? You know, I remember we were like super into the Kelly family, and that's why they were brought up. And I keep bringing them up because they're a prominent thing that happens. For one of the main things that brought me and my mom together, where we had like this great relationship, we were like creating this website, the first American Kelly family website, because they were like, had no fans here. We were like their only ones. And their music was like really weird, but different. When I like different, so I was like, I'm in. I got made fun of a lot in high school for that, and I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry if I tried to force the Kelly family on you, but they're cool. Which is why I kind of feel like I need to explain who they are and how prominent they were in our life at this moment, because I had introduced them to my mom by showing her the video. I was like, Mom, check this video out. Like, I did that to everybody. Like, hey, check this video. It was like the main singer. He has like this really amazing voice. Like, he's the one that sang, fell in love with an alien. I was like, man, this guy is gorgeous. And he sings like a fucking angel. Like, tell me more. So yeah, it was like really haunted me. I like went in my room to go read a book or something. I was like, so a lot of this is just gonna be stories. I just went from on camera. I know what Lukas. So right after all that, it got a little convoluted because I was going into my senior year of high school. I'd just finished my junior year, so I needed to go to school. I wanted to go to the high school I'd gone to since first grade when I moved in with my dad. So, I mean, I wanted to go to prom. I wanted to do all like the senior stuff, right? But I didn't really have anywhere to go. I was determined to not go back to my dad's after this land stuff. I was naughty. I was like kind of a rebel. Lukas, so that first day he was doing pretty bad, but he progressively seemed to get better. It was rough for everybody. We had to go to grief counseling, and she was really like good for them. And I only actually went to one session with Monica because I wasn't really having a grief problem as much as just trying to like wrap my head around like, what do we do? And I was like kind of a little bit in shock too, I guess. Kind of numb almost, disassociating myself from the feeling. The one session I went to, they were talking about this book, and it's called Embraced by the Light. Highly promote. I might have read it again since then, but I like always talk about this book because it changed my life. She dies, and she has this after-death experience. Like, so let's say this, what we're experiencing right now is one plane of life, right? And then there's this other plane of life, and then sometimes, and yeah, and you know, you don't see these planes intersecting, but it's a thing. It's like a scientifically basically proven thing. You can think about it however you want to think about it. You can call it science or you can call it God. The book basically is just talking about how you choose, like, before, like, if you want to excel, you gotta do something that's tough and work for it. Basically, the harder your life is, the more points you get, the more levels you go up. So it's like, can you be mad if your life's hard? If your life's difficult? You can't be mad no more because you chose that. You chose that because you're strong. Think about that when you're going through hard stuff instead of lingering on the bad. It's the only way to live. That's all in the book. And that's how I live my life. If you think too far in the future, you don't know what the future holds. And you can't change the past. So live for now and always strive to do better. Grief counseling. Check. I'm not really going to go too deep into it, but basically my brother Travis had temperament issues, basically, like just probably because of his dad passing. He, like I said, my mom was kind of disengaging and kind of free range. He ended up going to stay with my Uncle Billy for a little bit, and it was just probably the best thing for him at that time. So he's going to be gone for about 2 years here. And then we were 5. Me, Lukas, Cody, Hannah, Abby. So I was trying to just like weigh my options or whatever, and I decided to go back with my mom. Like, fuck it. Let me tell you about it. Like, I was free. Free falling, should I say. Me and Jason. So Jason, like, wanted to go in the army. Like, oh, cool, you want to go in the army? And he had this whole plan. And he gets out a piece of paper, like, all right, here's the plan. I'm like, what? Like, I have to go to school. Like, what? But he wanted me to drop out of school. Number one, like, no. I wanted to do my senior year, and I wanted to do it at my small town. And I was kind of like just annoyed with him. Like, I'm not like, he wanted me like marry him. Like, let's get married and you can stay home and have babies and I'll be fighting in the war. I'm like, dude, is this 1930? Like, I'm not a stay-at-home mom, number one. Like, I don't even know if I want kids or to get married. Like, what? I was just like, no. And he was like, oh, that's okay. Because I already have somebody else that wants to do that. I was like, is this really happening to me right now? You're asking me to marry you, kinda, I guess. And then if I turn you down, you have like a backup. Sure enough, this chick just walks into the room. Hey, girl. Like, I was like in disbelief. I'm like, okay. No. But like, really? But I wasn't offended. I was just like, okay, bye. I just was like, sounds good to me. I was a little bewildered, but like, I was like already kind of over this dude. And I was like already, how many times have you cheated on me? Probably with this girl. Like, I don't know. So I was just like, all right, bye. And I left. And never looked back. So I thought it would just be better. I mean, way better than going to my dad's. I wanted this my whole life, you know? So my mom was doing some pretty bizarre stuff. She was going to Leon's grave and, like, eating lunch there and taking naps there and, I don't know, doing everything there. Like, hey, Mom, want to come home? What's going on at the graveyard? Not dealing with it very well. So, like, things were happening where I had to, like, kind of help her out, get myself together, right? Because I didn't be an adult. I wanted to be free because I was finally free, and I, like, now I have to be, like, this mom, you know, type. Which I was. I mean, I was already kind of motherly to them anyway, because I was always trying to look out for them and save them from, like, just getting injured by all this stuff that was happening, because I was just so grown up, and, like, they were children, and I just, you know, I thought the counseling was helping, everything was going okay, but, you know, I still wanted to be there because my mom was just, like, making some bad decisions. I wanted to, like, you know, steer her the other way, you know? Still with my same friend group, and they had cars, and everybody else had cars except for me, and I was going to be 18 soon enough, so I was like, I'm just going to wait till I'm 18 so I don't have to pay for driver's ed, and I can just take the test, and I'll do this. I did not, but I had enough friends and stuff to drive me around. It was fine. It worked out. My mom drove me around too. She was like my taxi sometimes, not as much as she became later, but you know. My next boyfriend. I tend to date interesting people. People are always like, why? I don't know. I don't see them the way you do. Obviously, I don't know. And it was a friend of a friend's. Oh, he saw you. He's into you. He wants to see your number. Blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, let's meet this guy. I was 17. He was 21. My mom was cool with that. Fine, whatever. After Land, I was just like, whatever. Free range. It was free range. We could basically do whatever we wanted. I'm a rule follower for the most part. I didn't really have to be anymore. So I was like, okay, I can be a rule follower and have some fun, right? You have to remember this 2001. Rave kid. I did the big pants. Oh my God, I had these sweet ass pants. I wish I still had them. They were pink. Like when I say pink, they were like pink corduroy, but like the thin corduroy, not the big thick corduroy. And corduroy, we all know, was really big back in the 90s. I got these like little Smurf and mushroom patches and like put them like going down the leg, and they were like so cool. Those were like my rave kid pants. And we used to just like fucking make bracelets all the time. Score. And I'm not embarrassed of this because like I was 17. And my stepdad was killing stuff. I mean, I went off the deep end a little bit, like, because I didn't care for a minute. And I didn't do, like, too much. Like, you know. I don't like how it makes me feel. I try to watch the wall. Shut it off. No. And then I realized I had to get back to reality. I'm like, okay, what are you doing, Amy? This is what people expect you to do. Stop it. So I stopped it. Because I woke the fuck up. I'm like, okay, I don't want to be in this scene anymore. It's been real, like, I'm not attracted to you. I gotta go. But it was like always so hard to break up with the guys. They like wouldn't let go. Like, just like, let go of my hand. I don't know. I probably hinted at it before and he just wasn't taking the hint. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to be with you in the car or something. So we started driving all erratically and I'm like, what? Guys that do that? Red flag. So then I was just mad at him. Like, dude, take me home immediately. Like my dad, I think he just goes around telling everybody I'm like bad because I like stood up to him or wrote him a letter. Because I guess I wrote him a letter at this time too. I'm like, Dad, you suck. Bye. I guess I had big balls back then. I don't know. But I want to bring up the Kelly family. Again, I brought it up for a reason before because it's important. Like, me and my mom would sit together at the computer and like look up Kelly family stuff and all that. And like we were really into it and we started that website and then we were like writing this story. I'd write like a page and then she'd write a page and like we had it online. It was like fan fiction basically. We had like a following, like, but yeah, it got really long and I don't even remember when we stopped writing it, probably when I turned 19 and moved out, but like it went on for a long time because my mom was like super into them and she went and saw them. She went when her and Lynn was still together. That poster that came flying down the stairs and broke on the floor in front of me, Patty Kelly. I had already gone to Europe to see them. So she told me, because I was having such a hard time at school, I was like, I don't want to go back. Like, she would, if I went to school and like just stuck it out and did my last year, you know, then I will take you to go see the Kelly family. And I was like, what? You're going to take me to Europe? Yep. So school, right? So she gets me into this school. Yay. And I go. And it's crazy, like, because it's so big and I'm so lost and I know no one. I hated it. It was just like it just felt so out of place, especially after coming from this little small hick town where we, like, you know, tip cows for fun. And they're like picking on me because I dyed my hair like all like this blonde, which it's hard to get it that blonde. I mean, it was kind of golden. Oh, I was looking at Goldie Hawn over here, they'd say. I'm like, whoa, they're talking about me, like making fun of me. I don't like attention. Like, don't look at me. Next day, like, I get called down to the counselor, you know. Hey, like, you already have all your credits. Like, you have all these classes. You only need one English credit to graduate. I'm like, it's English? It's not math. I know, this is amazing. Like, life just keeps getting better. Well, you could go to night school. If it's just one class, they like, you could go to this alternative school. Word. No, granted, no senior experiences. Whatever. I completed. I got my diploma, and yay. It was amazing. One of the best experiences of my life. It was a great time. We were there for, I'm going to say, a week. Saw the Kelly family. I touched Patricia. Yeah, it was a good time. And I was only 17, and I got to drink beer and smoke cigarettes, and they let you do that over there, and I felt very grown up. The Kelly family. So they were a big part of our lives, and we did a lot, like, with them, and like I said, it brought me and my mom together, and then we went to Europe together. So it was just... They just, you know, have a special place in my heart. And I would get more into the Kelly family trip. It was really awesome. But we just went to a couple concerts. I'll just cover it really quick. We went to a couple concerts, one in Antwerp in Belgium and one in Cologne. It was like so surreal because I love them. And I got to touch their hands because they do the thing. So it was really cool and I loved them. I still love them. I got to see the Kelly family and I got to see a whole nother country, which was really cool. It was like stepping back in time. I mean, it was really awesome. There's like cobblestone streets and like, I don't know, it was really cool. And we met this guy that looked just like Patty Kelly from the Kelly family. And we took a picture with him. I'll show it to you. And then my brother was just kind of getting settled there too. He didn't really have any Lukas, I'm talking about. Which, mind you, he was 12 years old at this time. And he started kind of like mixing with the bad crowd. And he was kind of getting made fun of, Lukas was. So... one of these kids, like, kind of, that were part of the bad group of kids, kind of, like, took him under his wing, kind of was, like, looking out for him, and so this is how he, like, befriended them. I think it was Shane? Correct me if I'm wrong. Thus, the Southside people entered our lives. From there, things got a little strange. So, one of his friends, there was a large group of all ages, like a huge age range. I was one of the older ones, but there was a guy named Fat Matt, and then also my friend Tyler, and they were closer to my age. I think maybe a year or two younger than me. I think Tyler's 2 years younger than me. We're still friends for the most part. And then this new kid moved into town, and he started hanging out with our group, and his name was Joe. And Joe, he was my best buddy. He was so silly and so funny, and he came from a family of girls, so he was like the only boy, and he would come do his laundry at my house. Funny, and my mom would get so mad at him because he would like take her clothes out of the dryer and they wouldn't be like all the way dry, and she's like, damn Joe, dude. Like, we became what was known as the party house because my mom was suffering greatly with her grief and dealing with that in bizarre ways and not really around. And I was left in charge often, or Lukas, to kind of mind the children, which I did, but I also like took advantage of like my newfound freedom. My sister was just saying, like, it's not your fault, you know, that things went the way they did. But I mean, I didn't really stop it from happening either. I say this all the time, I wouldn't change anything, but it was quite the experience, that's for sure. But yeah, so we had friends coming over all the time. My mom was kind of strange. She would never come upstairs. Like, totally respected our privacy, but like, I don't know if it was just because she was too lazy to go up the stairs or not, but you'd like go through the bathroom to get up the stairs. It was like kind of like we said, like a fun house. So you go up these stairs and then there'd be like a room, there was like a big open room in the front and then a bedroom in the back, and the big open room could be basically two separate rooms because it was so large and big. It was just like a big open area. So it was Lukas and Cody. Lucas had like one side of this like big room and Cody had the other. And then I had the actual room with the door because I was a girl. But I mean, it's not, Lucas was always in my room and we'd like smoke bottles. Because I mean, she didn't really want us to have friends there. Like, it's probably, but she, I mean, there's no way she didn't know what was going on. She just like chose to be in denial about it, I think. We found out this like really cool way to like get our friends an antenna that went up the side of the house, and they would crawl up the antenna and knock on my window to get in, and we let them in that way. Just like while my mom was at work, we would just have all our friends over and they'd just be like partying, and then they'd be like, okay, my mom's about to hear everybody leave. You know, like I said, there was a guy, Bob, that I was friends with. I was 17, he was 21. So convenient, he can get me alcohol. So like I tried not to use and abuse him and tried to like actually be his friend, but he was kind of nerdy. And he had a crush on me. So he would do things for us, like, based on that. So he'd get us, like, beer and stuff. And we used to, like, go to the graveyard. Yeah, we went to the graveyard. And we'd sit in his car or around his car and drink beer. And I have a picture of that. Of us in the graveyard getting drunk. Me, Lucas, and I think our friend Steve. It was interesting times. And my mom was just like, okay. Like, I mean, I was only 17, and she was like, she let me date this 21-year-old man, and I took off and went to raves, and, you know, we were up there drunk, we were drunk one night, me and Lucas, and, like, fighting about something, I don't know. If you stop saying that, I'm gonna hit you in your face. I'm all drunk. And he was like, go ahead. So I'm like, okay, and he had, like, glasses on, so I, like, took his glasses on. Like, we were drunk, like, so ridiculous looking back on this, but it was a pretty serious situation. So I, like, smacked him or hit him in his face. Like, straight up. Like, I've never done that in my life, by the way. I think Lucas is the only person I've ever done that to. And he did not like that. And he attacked me. There was a wall with a window right there. And in the window was a window air conditioner because it was, like, summertime. Throws me into this window, and the air conditioner goes flying out the window, falls on the ground below. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm, like, drunk, and he's just, like, pummeling me, like, on the ground, like, in a fucking fetal position like this, you know? Like, trying to protect my head. And my mom, because she never... Even at this point, did not come upstairs. She's like standing at the bottom of the stairs screaming at Lucas, Lucas, stop. And I'm like, Mom, call the police. It was pretty serious. But then Cody, who was like 9, comes flying up the stairs. He came up there and like, you know, got like pushed, like just, I think the momentum of him running up the stairs and just like pushed him off me because we were right at the top of the stairs, and I like just ran downstairs. My mom's like, I'm gonna call the police. So then Lucas was like, fuck that, and ran. But instead of using the door, he just broke right through it like a cartoon. It's like an imprint of Lucas through the door. So it was a pretty bad situation. He just like took off and was gone like a full day or something. I mean, I don't even know. Where did you go, Lucas? I'll have to tell you where he went. Terrible times. I mean, we did that quite often. I think I drank more then than I do now. We were bad. I mean, that's what happens when you don't have any authority figures. I might go over a few more of the Southside stories because there's like lots of stuff that happened that like we had to escape. That my mom did the right thing here and realized what was happening and got us out there. I felt like I didn't cover enough in the first part. I was like kind of all over the place. I tend to, I have a little notebook today, but I tend to just wing it, and then I like, I'm all over the place and it doesn't make sense to anybody. It makes sense to me. Those of you that are actually like learning new things about me as you watch this, you're gonna be like, oh my God. We're gonna have one more episode after this for this season, and then this is gonna be the end of season 1. And I've actually only had 3 like serious relationships in my life because I'm kind of pathetic. My relationships are pretty long term, and those are the only ones I really talk about. Not that I've had that many opportunities to do that. 3 long-term relationships, my longest one being 14 years. That was to my husband. I don't want to give everything away in my life story. I'm just gonna kind of just offer episode 6. I'm just gonna breeze through some of the things and with some focal points so you guys can have some closure on season 1, because I'm so interesting apparently. You don't have to make up stories about me because I'm interesting without them in a better way. Don't even get me started. There are things like when I started doing this, I'm like, I'm just gonna say everything. So please don't judge me. If you're watching this and you feel like you'll judge me for anything that I do that is not up to your standards, just shut it off now. I've made some bad decisions and I've learned from them, and I've gone through some experiences. So because I have a very interesting perspective on things, like whatever, I'm so open-minded, and my opinion on those kind of things are so, I don't know, I think they're logical. Because I always thought everybody just thought like I did. They don't. Like my exes. Not my exes. I don't know. I can't remember. Because the one I was with LIS, and that's the only one I can think about. It consumes my mind. He like didn't seem to like believe that like I like really was the way that I was. He's all women are always looking for something better. Not me. I'm like not ever looking for anything better. Unless we're not together. If I'm looking for something better, then we're not together. It's kind of upsetting, because if you're a good woman, it's like you're not believed that you're a good woman or that you're a loyal woman because, oh, well, you did this or you did that. So everybody knows that about me. I'm tomboy. I have nothing in common with women, which is why I'm an anomaly to most men, and they don't know how to treat me correctly. But for now, let's get to the Southside. So just gonna kind of go back through the timeline of things, because me and Lukas were always kind of close because he was the older of all the boys besides Tony. And you got to remember, I was the only one going for a long time. I barely remember my sister coming with me to my mom's, but I know she did for a long time, but I just don't remember her. So I tended to just hang out with my brothers all the time. It's not like I'm super close with all my siblings, because I'm not. So just have like a very good relationship, and like we've had people like be jealous of it, and then we've had like people that are like super, it's like they're almost like in disbelief, like, man, I wish I had that. And the reason why we're the way we are, and it's just because of the trauma that we suffered as children. Like we always would be there for each other. After the burial, when that's the name of this episode. I am so bad at comforting. I've never been good at that. Hug. Like I never know what to do, because like I'm never really comforted. So like I've just had to like kind of comfort myself when things go awry for me. That's why I look for in a man. Somebody who is totally devoted to me and like will comfort me every time I cry. We're close, and there's no need to be jealous of us. We just got this way due to our trauma. Where do you go? Who do you trust? Who can you talk to? Your siblings, because they're going through the same stuff as you, and nobody else understood what I was going through. Like I know where they come from, and I love them, you know? So that's where that comes from. But I put them in situations that, I mean, and just to say, and like my only ex, like I was the bad one on the Southside. Those were all Lukas's friends. Number one, not all of them were bad. I mean, it was just different, something we weren't used to, and we had free range. I mean, what teenager wouldn't take advantage of that? The thing is, I don't like to tell a story, somebody else's story. Like, this is my story. If you're in the story, like my siblings are, even when it comes to my relationships, I want to share photos, but I have to make sure it's okay with them first. And I'm just kind of avoiding telling their story in case I ever have them come on and tell their story. And I'll give them a whole season. It's hard to understand my way of thinking, but I don't like super positive either. Because it makes me like shut off, you know what I mean? Like I don't even want to hear like this like feel good and like live, love, laugh. I don't know, there's something wrong with me. It's just so superficial and so like unrealistic. You know? It's not the case. I'm looking for the same thing. I'm looking for more than most women are looking for. Just once, it'd be nice to, you know, be saved. Have Superman come save me. I thought I had that. Don't always have that. You can't be naive to the world. And my mom was a naive person, which is why what happened to her happened with my stepdad, because she was raised so well that she had no life experience and she had no idea of what was to come. I was just very devastated now, wasn't I? It hasn't been that long, you guys. I'm doing okay though. It gets better every day. It's hard for me to let him go. I won't let him go until I'm ready to. As long as he lets me keep holding on to it, then here I am. I didn't even talk till I was like 3. And now I don't shut up. Making up for all that lost time. So that was kind of cool. My mom said I was super independent, and it's funny now because like I'm independent now as well. Like I enjoy my free time or alone time alone. My son had to watch me go through my breakdown. That was not healthy for him. He's like, what's wrong with mom? I just struggle a little bit. I'm terrible at math. I don't know if I mentioned that. Numbers confuse me. Like I can do the bare minimum. And my kids are so funny because they're always like, Mom, tell me more stories about your childhood. They just love it. They just love my misery. But they're like, my daughter just did this on Christmas. She's like, tell them the Christmas story. Oh, I was like, oh, the Christmas classic. You guys want to hear this story? Here's the Christmas story. So we were kids. I mean, I was like 10. I don't know how old I was. I was like old enough to understand that this was fucked up. And I'd been at my dad's for a while. So I was probably like 10. And there was this like stray cat that used to come around, and I named her Lina. Like, I just gave her that name. I don't know why. Lina? What? So it was just a stray cat, and I love cats. I don't know if I mentioned this. I just love them. I'm not really a dog person. I like dogs. I just don't like them in my house or around me or touching me. They smell bad. But it was a beautiful little kitty, and she'd follow us around when we played outside and stuff. And it was just, I just sit there and like pet her for hours, and I just loved her. Because we used to have barn cats too, but they got killed all the time by the dogs, and it was like horrific all in itself. We're walking out there, and we see Lina on top of my dad's car, right? Because it was warm. He had just got home from work, so it was still warm, and there was no snow on it, and she was like probably cold. Yeah. My dad like sees that cat up there and like picks her up and drop kicks the fucking cat across the yard on Christmas Eve, like dragging itself away. And me and Heather are like, and I think even Justin were like, what the fuck? I was just bawling, crying, like, you like can't. Dude, you just probably broke all the ribs. And I know she's not my cat, but she was my cat. Like, all I could think about that entire night was like my cat dragging itself away into the woods, and I thought she was gonna be dead. I did see her for a long time. I just thought she was dead, and I saw her like maybe a month or two later. It was springtime, and I was like, Lina, I was so happy, and she ran away from me. I can ruin that relationship. My only friend, thanks, Dad. But yeah, I hadn't started working yet. So the only other job I had was that bus girl, which I had for like a year, and I hated that job because I was like so shy. Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah, shy. I'm still shy, believe it or not. I am. I was always trying, like, I knew I wanted to work because I wanted money, but I didn't know how to do it, like how to get there. Like, trying to find a job when you're like 17 is not easy because nobody wants to hire you. And I did not want to work at fast food. No, not around a fryer. No thanks. And then my first job I got after I graduated. One of the things, so I had to get a job. I knew that. My dad always told me that if you want anything, you have to work hard for it. So I'm like, all right. Then this job thing. I really wanted a job at a movie store. I'm so glad that I didn't get that job at like Blockbuster or something. I'm so glad I didn't get that because could you imagine? I always told myself I wasn't going to do anything hard as an adult because I had to work so hard as a child. I'm like, I'm not mowing the lawn. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not splitting wood. I don't work that hard now. I mean, I work hard, but not with my hands. Not laborious work. So my mom was like, well, if you want to work at a movie store, why don't you work at the movie theater? It's right down the street from, where we lived. And I was like, okay, that could be fine. They hired me right away. So movie theaters are infamous for being expensive at the concession stand, right? And movie tickets. But they're also infamous for not paying their employees very well because they don't make a lot of money. You guys have to understand, movie theaters, all that money the box office makes on the tickets goes to the actors. How do you think they get paid? I was in concession. I started in concession, which is the bottom of the barrel, which is fine. I remember the floors were so slippery with butter. Yeah, behind the counter. They were so slippery that we would slide. I would like slide to the popcorn machine, slide to the Slurpee. We had like a Slurpee machine, slide to the pop machine, slide everywhere. And I was so fast. And I was a closer. So there was always like 3 closers, and somebody always had to stay till the end and do the final closing. And I always offered to do it. I was like, I'll do it. Because I wanted more money. I met Muhammad Ali when they did the Ali movie. Muhammad Ali came with his son or something at the time to watch the premiere of that. It was kind of cool. Like, yeah, Muhammad Ali. I'm like a perfectionist. I want everything to be right the first time. And if I fuck up, I'm like, I don't want to fuck up. It's because it's the OCD in me. I do have it, not to the extreme of my dad. It's probably something that was taught to me by my dad. I wouldn't even have it if he hadn't been the way he was, right? So I became crew leader at that point where I just was leading the crew. The manager at the time was this guy, and I was 18. And this guy called me swimsuit, which is super offensive. Can't get away with that shit now. And I think he ended up getting fired. Yeah. So then in comes the next one. I was not attracted to that guy, but he always tried to corner me and stuff. Like when I was doing projection, because I was a projectionist manager when I left there. And projectionists, they don't have anymore because now it's all like digital, but it's like these big, huge reels, right? And I'd have to put the previews on there. or the trailers for the movies, and they'd have like shelves like PG movies, PG-13 movies, R movies, and you could pick any one of those, and they're like labeled what the movie is on it, and you'd have to put so many, like 3, and you'd splice them together. You had splicing tape. It was crazy. If you've seen Fight Club, like he has that the one little image that he splices in there. That's basically exactly what it is. And I had to do that, and they come on these big reels, and there's like 3 of them, 3 of these big huge reels, right? And they're all at the end of the reel, so you have to run them all backwards on this big ass machine that runs them all backwards, and then splice them all together, and then run them all forward onto one big, even bigger reel. Then once that's ready to go, then you take it over to the projection. You have to like put it all through this they had to train me on this, and I had to take a test on it. Yeah, but you had to like put it all this certain way, and it was like super complex, and I was just like, damn, dude, they better be paying me good for this. They didn't. Let me get back to that new boss. He bought me a dozen white roses and brought them to work, and it was so embarrassing. He's like, well, they're white. That means friendship. I'm like, dude, you bought me a dozen white roses. How much did this cost you? And I don't even like you. Yeah, men. I wish that the men that I do like would do that kind of stuff for me. It was awkward times for me when I worked at the theater. Matt C was also in the friend group. I told you there were 3 Matts. Because we were already hanging out before that. We always hung out at his mom's house. He had a sweet ass room in the basement. And that's where we'd hang out and do stuff. I can't remember. But so Chrissy and I were friends and hanging out, and she started dating Matt C. I smoked pot with him for the first time in the cornfield and passed out. You remember that, Heather? You remember that, Matt? Anyway, I have a lot of good memories of Matt. I'd love to have him on here. That'd be a good time. Oh my God, I forgot about that. So we were young. We had to have been like 17. So I did like the majority of my drugs when I was not even an adult yet. I mean, how crazy is that? Like I just, I wanted something that I didn't think that was going to harm me too much. If that makes sense. I don't know. So we got this acid one night because we had to like house it. Chrissy had to like house it for somebody. We all went there. We had the house to ourselves, and we took this acid. It was a good time. I remember me and Matt P sitting in the bathroom. He was like sitting in the tub, like not naked, like with his clothes on. And we were just like in the bathroom. We wouldn't leave the bathroom. But we were just like, get out of the bathroom. And it got really weirded out. We watched Pink Floyd The Wall. Super cool. No, it wasn't. I got really scared. I thought the world was ending. I like was talking to myself, Oh, thanks. Because I just had an hour of rambling and I haven't even said anything. I found out that, about raves. Like I didn't know anything about that. And it was like they called them like these underground parties. Like you'd get flyers for them and like nobody knew where they would be. Like, and like you knew there was going to be one, but you didn't know where it was going to be. And everybody was always to the hill, like when you went, you always had all these beads. So weird. I told you we used to sit around and make bracelets to take to these raves, and they'd say like, I love you, or, stay cool, jivin', or vibin', or whatever. Like you had little letters you put on there and all these beads. Yeah, I don't know. We'd just sit there for like hours making these beads to give away to other people, and where you would always want to have a bunch of them, a lot of flair. I had like a double tongue piercing, which I talked about. I took all this ibuprofen and got sick and almost died. It was lots of fun. And I had this industrial piercing, but as you can see, it's ripped. It ripped out because my ear is so small up there. So now I just have an earring here, but like so really sit around making bracelets and not like I wasn't accomplishing anything, with myself. And this must have been before I started the movie theater. So I probably started the movie theater after I got out of the rave scene, because then I came back to reality. Bob would do like DJing, so that's was where he came from in the rave scene. And we actually talked on AOL Messenger. Like we just his name was Liquid Optic, I remember. But I liked Bob. I mean, he was like this short little guy or whatever, but he wasn't like, he didn't give me the ick or anything like that. He was like legitly like in friend zoned. He knew that. He would like hang out with my brother and shit, who was 12. Like his age flipped. And like, I hope Bob didn't do anything weird to you, Lukas. He took my brother. Hi. Like, because he was looking for someone to go drink with him, because that's what he used to do, is go to the graveyard and drink, and he'd come pick up like a group of us kids and go to the graveyard and, and give us beer and shit, because he was 21, so everybody liked Bob. Kind of. I mean, they didn't really like Bob, but they like put up with Bob because he bought us alcohol. So that's where the alcohol came from that we had all the time. And he had a car. That was another perk. Yeah. So, Bob. Lukas ended up getting in a fight with these kids, and I got beat up by their mom. Good times. If you want to hear that story, listen to Hannah's sibling session. You can tell that story. When Lukas first started on the Southside, he was not friends with the bad kids right away. He had this friend named Wade who was kind of dorky, but he was better than, I mean, in fact, I wish that he would have just stayed friends with Wade. So they had to start school after their dad died. It was just a difficult time for them, right? So then he starts being friends with like Shane and Daniel and Chris and they were skateboarders, right? All from our neighborhood. They're all in that neighborhood area. Some of them were not, like Tyler, for example, my friend. He was away and he would come visit, and I'd always get so excited when he'd come visit. He'd come to my house. He called my mom, and she was nice to him. She loved Tyler. Like, that was my only friend she liked. So that's how they got introduced. Something to do with, like, I think he rode a bus, or like something happened where they like stood up for him. Like in some situation that he was in where he was getting beat, like not beat up, but like made fun of or bullied in some way. And I think it was Shane, like stood up for him and then kind of got ushered in, you know? But there's more to that, which I don't really want to talk about all that. Like they were like in some gang or something, like whatever, like it's not real. Whatever it wasn't real. Because we gang banging out here. So that's how we met the Southside crew. And then they would come around every day for the rest of our time there. Like it was like nonstop, and sometimes I would just like freak out and tell everybody to get out because sometimes I've just had enough, and it's like it was nonstop. Like one person would come knock on the door and the next, and like I was home all day because I was going to night school and my mom was at work, so like I had like people over all day long. And one time Lukas came, like he like acted like he was walking to school and then came right back and snuck up the little fucking antenna because my mom was still there. She hadn't left for work yet, and came back right back inside. So yeah, so there's lots of crazy situations with the Southside crew. We pulled a stop sign out of right in front of our house, which is super against the law, so that we could have the pole for a rail to skateboard on. Waxing curbs left and right. I couldn't really skateboard. I like to scooter around. It shouldn't have been that way. There shouldn't have been all these kids at my mom's house when she wasn't there and all that. But she kind of knew what was going on. She always acts like she didn't know. I mean, I don't know if she just didn't want to go up the stairs or what, but she wouldn't go up there. So like we just got away with it. Smoking weed. I remember me and Joe Brown. I remember, and my mom didn't tell me she was coming home. And she almost always did. She was coming home early because Hannah was sick and she had to pick up Hannah and bring Hannah home. But she didn't tell me. I assume I was the one that was going to watch her, right? And I think Lukas was getting homeschooled at that time. So me and Lukas were both there, and Joey was there, and probably Fat Matt, and we were sitting all around the table, like fucking that 70s show, smoking a fucking blunt, because we used to smoke blunts. And there's my mom with my little sister. I was like, hi, Mom. Mid-run, my mom, he was like, where my mom couldn't see him, darts upstairs, goes into his room and lays down and acts like he's been, I was like, dude, Lukas was, because my mom's like, what are you doing, smoking pot? I was like, well, Lukas was doing it too. And she was like, where's Luke? Like, no, he's not. He's sleeping. You asshole, Lukas. Here's another story from Southside. Like because we went to skateboard, so we had our skateboards, and we were going to go up to the mall because it was an ozone layer day. So if it was ozone layer day, you can ride the bus for free. So we all got on there, and it was like totally packed full of people. And it was like standing room only, like a Subway, which was weird. It was very awkward. These particular ones were just really mean to us. And they were like talking, like I could, like, because I was standing up because there was like and holding on because there was nowhere to sit. And they took Joe's skateboard. I remember that. And Joe's like, hey, can I have my skateboard back? And they're like passing around and stuff, which was really mean. I'm standing there, and there's like, two darker skinned ladies sitting right here next to me where I'm standing. And I'm just trying not to like cause any problems. So I'm just standing there like, I'm not going to say anything. And I'm American Indian. I just want to point that out. They're like, hey, you see this white girl? I could hear them like talking, like right there next to me. And they're like, you see this white girl? She's wearing sandals, because I was wearing sandals. She's like, I should just stomp on her foot. That's what I heard. I was like, oh my God, please don't step on my foot. And the other girl was like, yeah, it's about time the white people had to stand on the bus. I was like, oh my God, get me off this bus. Because I gotta tell you something, like, I have never been racist in my life. So to like just assume that you can treat me like that because I'm white in your eyes or whatever is super unfair, you guys. Racism isn't just one way. It's not just a white to black. It goes both ways, okay? You can't be black and be racist to a white person either, or Indian person, or any person. They're all like the same to me. I don't see color. I see what's inside. And like I said, my best friends at the time were Tyler, who's half black, half white, and Tessa, who's half black, half white, and her boyfriend, Josh, was half black, half white. And Joe, Panamanian. So I don't think Fat Matt was my only pure white friend. I don't think like that. That's not what attracts me to people, the color of their skin. That's so ridiculous. So Can we cut that out? Everybody came to Amy. It was Amy's house. It's my house, for one thing. It was my mom's house, and I was a teenager, so it was Lucas's house. That was their friend. I became their friend through Lucas because he started bringing them over and around. But I mean, I didn't seek these people out. We had a Walkman battery. We learned this from Josh's brother, Mike. He showed us how to make a tattoo gun from a Walkman battery and a guitar string. Yeah, you can make tattoos with that, and I have some. I'd show them to you, but they're pretty embarrassing. My friend Matt C did it for me with that guitar string. It's fucking not good. So, jealous girls, not cool. That Amber chick, she like spray painted Amy's a hoe on this abandoned house, and like 1 block over, I'm like, great, here we go. I've just had a stream of jealousy pointed at me, and people can't stand me being happy or being happy with anybody. They just have to sabotage it and make me, they don't even give me a chance. I'm a really great person. Like, I don't understand it. And I'm not mean, I don't really care for ladies because of how they treat me badly. And that's where it all started. It still happens to this day. It's like I say, it's not new. It's not new. I'm smart, you know, I'm a good catch. Got it going on. So I just got a lot of persecution, you know, when I lived on the Southside about being like a slut or something. And it was really unfortunate because I wasn't, for one. Like, that was like an experience in the way. The reason I say I wouldn't change any of that is not because it was such a great time, because it wasn't. It was horrific, actually. I got to experience like life outside of my dad's without all that being sheltered, and my self-esteem was able to be lifted higher than where my sister's is right now because she didn't. So she's never been not in a relationship or not being controlled by some man, because usually they're the ones in control because she has no self-esteem and gets walked all over. My sister, my older sister. But I'm not like that because I had like this experience, and I'm grateful for that. I just have insecurities. I think too much about stuff that I shouldn't, and, you know, to my detriment. But my sister's way worse. So she doesn't think she can do better than some things that she definitely can do better than. So one of my friends, and I'm talking about Hannah, this happened to Hannah. I think he like pulled out he dick picked her, but in real life, but he like exposed himself to her. Like without me knowing, because I was like super protective of my siblings. So I don't know how he snuck in there, maybe like if he went to the bathroom. But as soon as it happened, my sister told me. I think Tessa was there when my sister told me. And she was like, I'm calling Josh, which is her man. All I know is that Josh got there, and he was like, gonna take care of it for me. He's like, where is he? And we go find this fucker at Shane's house, which was directly behind our house. So we went there first. He was there. He was like all like scared, so scared, because Josh is pretty intimidating. You know, nobody fucked with Josh. So then Josh was like, take off your pants. I told him to take his pants off. He says, you got cigarettes? And he was like, and Joey's like, yeah. He's like, give them to me. He's like, empty your pockets. Give me all that. He's like, now take your pants off. And Joey was just doing all this stuff. This dude was standing in his boxers. He's like, I'd take your underwear too if I had skid marks in them or whatever he said. And that dude was that's the best thing anybody's ever fucking done for me. Fucking just humiliated this dude, made him strip down to his fucking underwear, and then took all his shit and left him standing there like a fucking dumbass. Like, who does that? Who the fuck does that to a little girl like that? Like, I let you come in my house and you do that to my sister? So there was an usher that worked there, and he was like this really tall, blonde, blue-eyed guy, like I like, you know, or whatever. And he was like on the swim team, so like, he was Sporty Spice over here. I was like super into him. And I think he was into me too. Like, we both were like, yeah. We were both like super shy. And his sister worked there. Her name was Melody. And his name was Chris. We didn't work the same shifts. Like, we rarely worked together, because I don't remember us ever working together. But I know she worked concession. So weird. I still had this little crush on. We hadn't really like tried to pursue each other, whatever. Well, one time me and my mom went in there on my off day to watch some movie or something. And Melody was working in concession. And Mom's like, Melody. I'm like, oh my God, how does she know her? She's like a young kid. I think Melody's younger than me. And she was like, oh, Aunt Tammy. I'm like, Aunt Tammy, like, who is this? Okay, so she's my second cousin. She's my mom's cousin's kid. So Chris was my second cousin. Oh my God, Chris is my cousin. This guy I had a crush on. Yeah. Like, oh, and keep it in the family. Like, dude, the fact that I had a crush on my own cousin and I didn't know it was my cousin is really sad. So yeah, Chris and Melody, cousin. So I went to this party. I did not feel comfortable going by myself, so I brought my brother. And I get there, And I'm the only chick there, so thank God I brought my brother. I feel like I was getting set up for something not good. There's like 4 other dudes there, and nobody else, and like cocaine, and they're doing coke. They have a fucking prostitute that they hired, and like we're just taking turns fucking. Are you kidding me? Like I've never been in that situation before. I just want to get the fuck out of there. So I was like, no, we're fucking leaving. I was like, no. Like, are you kidding me right now, dude? Bye. And we left. He didn't stop me. Dude calls me, and I have like my friends there at my house or whatever, and he's asking me if I can get him something. I'm like what? What are you looking for? Do you know how to get cocaine? No, I did not. And I had him on speaker or something, and my friend Brian was like, that's another one of them. He's like, tell him yes. I'm like, really? Okay. I was like, yeah. He shows up. We like meet him at this like parking lot. We had this whole scheme planned out of how it was going to go down. So we were going to tell him we could get it. There was like 3 of us, and one of us was going to go get it, and the other one was going to stay there because he's going to give us money. We were going to go get it and then come back with it and leave somebody there. So like it was like legit. Comes back. And he's like, dude robbed me. He took money and like took off. And the dude's like, what? Give me all your names, all 3 of your names. And Joe just looks at me, he's like, give you our names. Like, you're trying to buy cocaine, dude. What are you gonna do? Call the cops? And took that guy's money and went and bought weed. Not coke. We saved his life that night. We were shysters like that. We would like just like rob people all the time. I'm not proud of it, but it's like this shit was happening. And it's because we had nobody to tell us we couldn't do it. Like, just, you know. The day I graduated from high school, I got some money for my graduation. Of course, I was going to get weed with it. So I sent my friend Brian to go get this weed, and I think he pulled one on me. He went to go get me weed and comes back with it, and it's fucking, like, the stuff underneath the mower, you know, that you mow and you get, like, that buildup. That's what it was. On my fucking graduation night. So we didn't even have weed, and now my money's gone, and I bought fucking grass clippings. Isn't that crazy? So glad there's dispensaries now. Bob, what a great influence. So he's like, you ever robo-tripped? And we're like, no, what's that? Robo-tripping. Like, what's robo-tripping? So robo-tripping is when you, like, take a bunch of cold medicine and it makes you trip. Basically what they use in meth, right? Sudafed, and what that is, cold medicine? I don't know. I think so. We got this stuff called Cordacidin. So this Cordacidin was cold and cough Cordacidin. And we had no money, so we would steal it, of course. Like, we'd wear big hoodies and go in there and, like, shove them up our sleeves. And you needed 8 of them. There were 16 in a package. So you needed lots of boxes for lots of people to do them because you had to take 8 of them for even anything to happen. We were just trying to get fucked up for some reason. Like, it's so stupid to me now because I hate being fucked up. Like, not in my right mind because I'm, like, just too responsible these days. But back then, I had no inhibitions. But I don't have an addictive personality. It's, like, super easy for me to just be like, this is stupid. So we're doing this Cordacidin stuff, and it was bizarre. And one night, we're at my house and we were doing the Cordacidin, and I was really into the Beatles at this time, and I was playing like the Beatles one. I had that CD, and I remember this Sgt. Pepper poster on my wall. Smoke a pot and just having a good old time on this Cordacidin, and we had a strobe light. I don't know where the strobe light came from. Somebody brought it with them, and we were like, turn the lights off and turn the strobe light on, and like, so that was happening. And then all of a sudden, like how it felt for me, I remember it very distinctively. I was sitting on the bed, like we were laughing, and the strobe light was on, and then all of a sudden I felt like I had no thoughts at all. Like, I don't know how to explain what it feels like to lose your mind, but that's like the only way I can explain it. Like, I was like, had nothing. And I remember looking at the Sgt. Pepper poster and like just wanting like this will to go back, like to go, like my eyes were going back and everything. Like that's all I remember. And then I wake up like an hour later, and everybody's staring at me like, oh my God. Like, I was like freaked. I was like, why is everybody looking at me like that? Well, here's why. So I guess I had a seizure. So I started foaming at the mouth, and those cold pills that we were taking at the time were red, and I started foaming, all this red stuff coming out of my mouth, right? And I was like super rigid, and my arms were like straight like that, you know? And like, and convulsing, and they like freaked out, and they were just kind of trying to see like if I was just going to make it through and be okay. So the seizure, I don't know what they did exactly. I'd have to ask Matt C, like what happened. Maybe he can help me out a little bit on that, so I can fill that gap in. But he said that, you know, I foamed, all that stuff was happening, convulsing. Then I kind of like stopped, right? And then I sat up. And then I was like a child, he said. And they would ask me questions. They were like asking me questions to see, like, because I thought I had lost my mind, which apparently I did. Who's that? And they pointed to Matt. And I was like, this is my boyfriend. And like, was just acting really like a child. Where's my mom? Or what time is it? Or something of that nature. And they were like, Amy's gone. And they thought I was gone. I all of a sudden just snapped out of it. Just snapped out of it. And they were all just staring at me, and I didn't remember any of it. None of the questions, none of the talking, none of any of that. Last thing I remembered was just looking back, going straight back, you know, with that Beatles poster. I was looking at it, and I was like, what the fuck? Who am I? You know? It was like the weirdest sensation and feeling, and like the thought, like there was no thought. It's so weird to like even recall, because like, I don't know how to express it, but not a cool thing. I never did Cordacidin again after that. Aren't you proud of me? I had got my tongue double pierced. Right? It was very painful. I could eat nothing. It was taking forever to heal. And I was just like popping ibuprofen like it was candy, because I didn't know that you couldn't do that. I wouldn't just keep popping it like I was. I didn't realize that there was a limit. Even though I was 17, I should have known that. But so I developed like this really severe pain, like right in my side, like if you're running and you get a cramp, it was just like that. But it was real severe. Like I couldn't even walk. Like I remember laying on the bathroom floor and like laughing about it. Like I can't walk, and like kind of laughing about it. But it certainly was not funny. Like I wasn't, like it was serious. He was really concerned about me because like, even though I was laughing and stuff about it, like I like legitimately could not walk. So he picked me up and like carried me. I feel he took me, my mom, like they had to tell my mom about that one, because like I was like, I couldn't walk and they had to like carry me. So, and that was like concerning. I was only 17 at the time. I got done illegally. And I was like, I know tongue pierce, and I've been taking this ibuprofen, and I had this horrible pain, and my boyfriend carried me out to the car for my mom. And I think he might've went with us and carried me inside. I think I had and I don't know. It was crazy. And they put me in an IV. Yeah, my liver almost shut down. It was not good. Teenage girl, you know, and making bad decisions, and like, that's not how you deal with that, right? Well, so these three dudes from across the street come over, and they had like tequila or something. I don't know what the fuck. They had some liquor. And you know, that was when we were like always trying to get beer and liquor and stuff. And they're like, hey, you guys want to drink? You guys want to do some shots? And we're like, yeah, hell yeah. So like they come inside, and we're like taking shots, and like I'm fucking wasted. Like I don't even know how many shots I took. I was like I barely remember this, but I do remember it happening. And we went upstairs to smoke. Went up in my room to smoke. So we're sitting there, and I'm like I can't barely keep my eyes open. I like lay back on the bed because I'm just like so wasted. It's possible that they put something in my fucking drink too. I don't know. I got fucking raped by this dude. Yeah. And I remember Joe Brown walks in and was like, oh shit, and then walked right back out. And it was really hard to comprehend what was happening because I was so drunk. And like, I just remember Joe coming in, but I think that he was just scared. So yeah, I got pregnant and they had to have an abortion. That was not fun. So, and it was like one time and that happened. So, fun. I am very pro-life. So it's kind of a shock when I tell people that I've had one. But there was no way I was ready for a child at 18. I mean, I was an idiot for one thing. I had to go through all that by myself. It was horrible. Anybody that's gone through it knows what I'm talking about. And yeah, that happened. Like I said, I learned from my mistakes. I'm not traumatized by it or anything like that. It's the only time that anything of that nature has ever happened to me. Because I don't remember it. I barely remember it. And I feel like I put myself into that situation by letting them into my house and just trusting them like that. Like, why would I do that? So another thing I used to do is steal my mom's car. Yeah, so we can go to the graveyard and drink or go to somewhere. We'd all get out of there and go somewhere for some reason. We always had to do that. So it was really difficult to do because I think I talk about this with Cody. So you can see the full thing on that. But yeah, I used to sneak into her room while she was sleeping. She had her purse like hanging on her bedpost above her head where she was sleeping. And my brother was in there too. Cody's sibling session. He talks about how he didn't want to sleep upstairs because of all our friends and stuff we had up out there all the time, smoking pie. He just didn't want to be around it. He just did that. So it was very difficult to get those keys. And I'm going to end this story on Christina. And she was like, I've been looking everywhere for you, Amy. I'm like, you have? What? Whoa, what's up? You know? like this chick that she had like a thing for me and apparently was looking for me and found me. She was there and she was like, hey, remember me? And I was like, is that Christina? I called her Crazy Christina because she was fucking crazy. And she was crazy. And drugs, like all drugged out because she'd done all these drugs, so her brain was like gone. And she had all these DUIs. She gave me like weird, like the heebie-jeebies a little bit because she was just so fucked up. Asking me if she paid me, if I would drive her around because she had all these DUIs, so she couldn't drive. And she had like, you know, she had to go to doctor's appointments and all this stuff. Okay, yeah, I guess I can do that. Like, so this one time, she was driving and my brother was in the car. Like we used to go to her, like she had this apartment. So she would like, we'd go over there and hang out and party or whatever with her. We were like leaving her apartment. I remember because it was like, she lived in like the town I grew up in with my dad. That's where she lived in that town. So we were leaving there and, she started like driving like all crazy and like really fast and my brother was in the car and I was like, hey, slow down. Like, why are you driving like that? And she was like, no, we're all gonna die. We're gonna crash right through these. Cause she was like going right towards these woods. And I grabbed the fucking wheel. I was like, are you fucking crazy? Don't ever fucking do that with my brother in the car again. Like I got really, like we were fighting about it cause she was like being crazy. Like you can't do that. Cause she was acting like a fucking idiot. So I was like not liking her after that. I was like, fuck this person. She's fucking crazy. Because she was crazy. I had to take her to this court thing. This is where it gets kind of convoluted. Took her to this court date thing that she had for DUI. But it was like she just had to go in front of the judge and like I had to sit out in like the outside area. So I'm sitting there and this cop comes out after a while and he's like, hey, so she's in jail. They booked her and she has a bond of $500 and here's her debit card and her PIN. He gave me both of those. She wrote it down for you. And she wants you to go to the bank and get out the $500 and come back and bail her out. She signed her car over to me so that it would be, so she can get, because she couldn't get insurance or anything because of her DUIs. So she was kind of just using me. That's the whole reason she came to find me, I guess. And she wasn't paying me. But then I go to the bank because I'm doing the right thing, you know. So I go to the bank to get her money out and I check the balance and there's only $425 in there. I need $500 and she only had $425. I guess she didn't know something came out of her bank account. So I took out the money intending to use it for the bail and I went to my sister's, I guess, to see like what I should do if she had the money or what, because I didn't know what to do. I'm like, what do I do now? My sister wasn't there, but her husband was. And he's like, why don't you just keep the money? I was like, it's not a bad idea. There really wasn't anything she could do about it. She gave me her card and her PIN. She gave it to me. And she had her car signed over in my name. Yeah. And I was driving on the bypass one day with my brother in her car and it took a shit. Head gasket blew on the side of the bypass. Yeah. Left it there. And like I went to her apartment, took my friends over there, we partied when she was sitting in jail and didn't feed her cat. Yeah. So then I was scared that she came looking for me when she got out. Right? Okay, so his name was Brent, this guy that I used to be friends with that I met on the Southside. He was getting this place and he needed a roommate and I wanted to move out of my mom's house. I was ready to go out on my own, you know. I didn't have a job yet. He was letting me stay there for free because he liked me so much. I'm just like, sweet deal. So I moved in with this guy. He had very stinky feet. I remember that. It always smelled like dirty feet. His hope was that like he'd like get me to like him by having me live there and paying for my rent for me or something. So then I got this job at the gas station, which was right by the neighborhood where him and Corey both lived in this neighborhood. That's how they knew each other. And he came and so he'd come in there all the time. And when my mom, after we moved out of the Southside, we got the LIS chicken house. That's what we're calling it, LIS chicken house. I like calling it the trapdoored house because it had that trapdoor, which was really sweet. I ended up going back to my mom's at that house. And that's when me and Cody were talking about that. When I stayed there, I wasn't there long. That's when she started dating Keith, which is her third husband. And so it'd been a couple years since Leanne had died and she was finally ready to date and she met Keith and then I kind of felt like I could go, if that makes sense. Because I always felt like I had to stay there and like help take care of my siblings and my mom a little bit because she's kind of like lost her like sense of responsibility. And then Keith came and then I felt like I could go. Thanks, Keith.